Hi everyone, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to draft and called a conical on the bust corset. If this is the first time coming across my video, thank you so much for stopping by. Please hit on the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified anytime new video drops. So guys, let's dive right into today's tutorial.
Two souls colliding. We shared the pieces of ourselves. It's perfect timing.
So guys, I've already gone ahead to draw out my basic lines. Okay, so what I have there from my shoulder to my chest line is 7.5 inch. From my shoulder to my bust point is 9.5 inch. From my shoulder to my under bust is 12.5 inch. From my shoulder to my waistline is 15 inch. From my shoulder to the top length is 22 inches. Okay, on the shoulder line, I marked half of my shoulder measurement plus half an inch stitching allowance. I did the same thing on the chest line. So I made a straight line with it. Then from there, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'll divide what I had left, mark the midpoint, come inside by half an inch, and on the chest line, I marked quarter of my bust circumference. I'll use my curve rule to connect the 3 dots I have here just to give me my armhole curve. Okay, so after I was done with that, I'll mark 3 inch for my neck width. I'll also come down by 3 inch for my neck depth. I'll go ahead and rule out the line, that is make my round neckline. Then I also make my shoulder slope, just connect it into the neck width. Once I'm through with that, on the waistline, I'll mark half of my nipple to nipple. Do the same thing on the bust point, and on the under bust, repeat the same thing on the top length. Okay, after marking half of your nipple to nipple, go ahead and rule out a straight line, connect like so. Then from the top length, come up by 2 inch, and on the bust point, come down by 1 inch. On the waistline, subtract half an inch on both sides. Okay, this is for the dart intake. Okay, is our normal dart intake. Go ahead and connect this way. All right, so after connecting, the next thing I want to do again is to include my measurement. So I will include my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll mark it, add 2 inch for my allowance. On the waistline, I'll mark quarter of my waist circumference, add 2 inch for the allowance, and also replace the 1 inch for the dart intake. On the top length, I will mark quarter of my hip circumference, add 2 inch for the allowance. Go ahead and connect the dot just like this. So after I was done with this, next thing I want to do is to tighten the under bust by 0.5 inch on both sides. So after that, I am going to make a straight line. I'll just extend the line, make it slanty. Okay, from your under bust, go ahead and connect a line like this, like extend a line this way, make it slanty on this folded part, and on the side going towards the armhole, go ahead and connect it to the that leg. Okay, just like this, you connect to your that leg this way. Once I'm through with that, I'll go ahead and make my curve. Okay, from the bust point to connect to the under bust, repeat the same thing on this other side. From the bust point, connect to your under bust. Okay, so once I'm through with that, you can see the shape I have here. The next thing I want to do is from the shoulder, I'm going to come down by 4 inch. You can come down by 4.5 or 5 inch depending on your armhole depth. So I marked 4 inch for mine. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect from there to my bust point. Just like this. Can you see? This is a princess dart. I just made a princess dart curve. Okay, so I'll just use my marker to make the line very visible. This is just for a guide. Okay, so after I was done with this, the next thing I want to do is on the underbutt, I'll come up by 1 inch. From the underbutt, I'll come up by 1 inch. Okay, then on this folded part, I'm going to come up by 1.5. So after that, I'll connect from there to this dart leg, connect from the other side to the other dart leg. Okay, just like this. Okay, so repeat the same thing on this other side. So go ahead and connect. All right, so after connecting, guys, this was what I had. Can you see? So the next thing I want to do is to divide what I had there. On the waistline, I'll divide what I had there. I had 6 inch. So instead of me marking 3 inch, I mark 2.5 because I want to make a slant line. Then I'll mark 3 inch on this other side. I'll use my straight ruler to make a slant line. Okay, so the 3 inch I marked on the top length, I later did not connect it to that point. You can see I came inside a little bit to give me that slanted curve. So I am going to mark half an inch on both sides because I want it snatched a little bit. So I marked half an inch on both sides. Can you see? Then you connect from the bust point to that line, okay, to the waistline, just this way. So once I'm through with this, next thing I want to do now is to measure what I have here. I had 1.5 inch, so I'm going to replace the 1.5 inch on the waistline. Okay, you replace it on the waistline. Then after replacing the 1.5 inch on the waistline, I'll use my ruler to connect it. Okay, I'll connect from the waistline to the top length. Then from the chest line, I'll connect from there with about half an inch to that waistline. Can you see? So once I'm through with this, I'll go ahead and cut it out. Okay, just look at how I'm cutting this. Watch carefully so you don't make mistake or cut on the right part.
Don't fight the fire. Too much too fast to burn us out. We walk the wire, love. Don't make me read your mind. I know it. Learn to trust, learn to trust. It's never enough, never enough.
After cutting, guys, this was what I had. Can you see? So the next thing I want to do is to use my masking tape to close the dart. Okay, I want to close the dart. I've closed this one. I'm going to close this other one like this. So after closing up my dart, what I want to do now is to make my curve for the hem. You know, we have a curve at the hem part, so I'll divide what I had there by 2. I had 10 inch, so I'll divide it by 2. I marked 5 inch. From that midpoint, I came up by 2.5. Then I went ahead to connect from the center front to that other end. Okay, just like this. So after curving it this way, after curving this way, go ahead and cut it out. Okay, so guys, after cutting, this was what I had here. So I had to remove my masking tape. Then after removing, I had to measure again, and you can see I have little excess. So I'll just go ahead and remove my excess. Okay, so after pointing the excess out, like, you know, making the point with my marker, pointing it out with my marker, I'll just go ahead and trim out the excess I have on this boat pattern. Okay, I did this on the center front and on the side front. Okay, so after I was done with this guy, you can see what I have here. You can see now I have an equal length, no excesses. So after that, I had to label as 1, 2, and 3, and I also gave directions on how to join them. Okay, ensure you label yours. So for the back pattern, I already marked 1 inch for my zip allowance, and I also labeled as zip allowance. Okay, so I'm going to place the front on it like this. I'll just place the front this way. Then after placing my front pattern on it, I'm going to spot out the side, and I'll spot out the center side as well. So I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect the 2 dots I have here. I'll connect like so. Then after connecting, I'm going to place the button back again, then use my pin to pin it down. Okay, so go ahead and pin yours just like you see me doing here. So guys, after pinning, I am going to trace the side. I'll use my marker to do this, then trace the down part, that is the hem part. Also repeat the same thing on the dart leg. Go ahead and trace your dart leg. So once I'm through with this, I'm going to cut it out. Okay, so this is very easy. Instead of you starting afresh with the back pattern, you know, drawing out all those lines and all of that, just go ahead and place your front pattern on it, trace everything out, then go ahead and cut it out. Okay, fold in your zip allowance, then go ahead and cut out the hem part. Okay, also repeat the same thing for the curve as well.
Two sparks igniting. We left some space for us to breathe. My head is quiet
After
now.
cutting, also don't forget to label as 1, 2, and 3 for your back piece. You can see I labeled as back 1, back 2, and back 3. Okay, so this was what I have to have done labeling. So this is my zip allowance. Okay, if you want yours to have zip, you can leave it like that, and also remove your zipper bulge. Okay, so if you don't want to have zip, you can mark any inch you want for your back opening. Okay, like if you want to create loops, like you want to have a back loops or lacing bar, just go ahead and remove whatever inch you want for your opening. Okay, then after that, I'll just point where I'm going to be fitting the loops. Okay, so this is where to attach your loops. All right, so this is for the back pattern. Back pattern is set. You can see it's very easy. So I want to retake my measurement for the front piece. So I had about 2.2 here. I had about 4 inch here. So remember we took out about half an inch on both sides on the waistline for our waist snatching. So this is just the front piece only. Okay, so what I have here, it means we took out 2 inch on the side, and on the back piece we took out 2 inch, that is 4 inch. Okay, so my waist circumference is 27 inch minus 4 inch for waist snatch. What I had left was 23 inch. Okay, so 23 inch divided by 4 will give me 5.5.2 inch. So what I had here was the exact 5.5.2 inch, and the 2.5 inch on this side is just for the allowance. Okay, so that is for the waist snatch. I just retook the measurement to be very sure I have my exact measurement minus my waist snatching, which is the 4 inch. And after measuring everything, I had this 2.5 inch for my allowance. All right, so after cutting your patterns this way, go ahead and retook your measurement. Ensure you remove or minus your whatever inch you removed for your waist snatch. Ensure you minus it as well from your main waist circumference. Do you get? So I had 5.5.2 inch, like I said, and this remaining inch I had here was just 2.5 inch, and it's for the allowance. Okay, so after joining everything together, both the front and the back piece, if you don't want excess allowance, you can go ahead and trim out about 1 inch or half an inch. It depends on what you want. Okay, so I'm going to retake my actual waist circumference, which is the 27 inch. So the 27 inch divided by 4 will give me 7 inch. You can see I had 1.5 inch left for the allowance. Okay, so I'm very sure and I'm certain of this measurement. So what I'm going to do now is to place the back and front piece. You can see the front piece and you can see the back piece. Okay, so guys, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. And again, before we actually come to the end of today's tutorial, please, I want you to hit on subscribe button for me, turn on notification bell so you're always notified anytime new video drops. Don't forget to share, comment, like. Thank you.